Hey guys, Simon Train here from GMS. Quick update for May in the world of paid advertising and what's sort of the latest updates right now. So let's jump in and take a look. Today I'm going to cover a couple of different topics. So the first being the biggest one on everyone's lips for this month and for the last couple of months especially is going to be iOS 14, Apple's latest operating system update, and then the implications of their new privacy data sort of controls around what that means for paid ads. So we're going to jump into that and have a look and see exactly what from Apple is coming out there. We're going to jump into the Facebook Ads Manager and exactly how you can prepare best to combat all the implications and all of the negative sort of side effects that you're going to get from the iOS 14 changes. Next up, we're going to take a look at TikTok. TikTok has made a bit of a play in the small business world and with e-com, so we're going to jump in there and just take a look and see what's happening there. Pinterest and Shopify have just announced a big partnership that they're rolling out across 27 different countries, and that is a pretty cool development, so we're going to take a look at that for any of you e-com stores watching. And then the final one is Snapchat. So Snap's Partner Summit is they just released that and they just had that recently in Asia Pacific, I believe. So we're going to just take a look at some updates from Snapchat and from the platform and see how that's sort of a bit of a sleeping giant at the moment as well. So let's jump on in and just take a little quick look at that one, guys.
Alrighty, guys. So, looking at May 2021, the monthly market update in the world of paid advertising from your experts and your partners, GMS Growth Marketing Systems. So, as I said, the first thing we're going to take a look at today is Apple iOS 14.5. So, the iOS 14 update is the most recent one. The 14.5 is the big one that has really brought in those privacy controls, and it's becoming a bit of a thorn in everyone's sides who's running ads, not just across Facebook and Instagram. Now you'll see my second point there is around how to prepare your Facebook ad account for these upcoming changes. It's important for me to say just up front there, I believe this is going to be impacting every single sort of third-party ad tracking software or platform, I should say. So your Google, your Pinterest, your Snapchats, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is going to be impacted by this change. So we'll jump into that one first. As I said, you can see there. Secondly, we're going to have a look and see what we can do from a ads manager standpoint with Facebook. They've got 3 tips that we can implement directly to help mitigate as many of these impacts as possible. Third thing we're going to jump into is the TikTok celebrating small businesses and a few updates there, Pinterest and Shopify partnership, and then Snapchat and its Snap Partner Summit and some updates that have come off the back of that. So let's jump in right in, guys. End of month May here, so the data I've got in here might be a little bit old, a couple of weeks back, but it is still very, very relevant. So I guess the first one is the elephant in the room, iOS 14.5. So there's these huge updates to the privacy controls that Apple are obviously giving to their users and consumers. So I guess I don't know if anyone out there is on Apple. You may have seen this prompt. You may have been asked this. You may have opted out or allowed, not too sure. But just to give you some sort of context. So I guess Apple have come out and they've said, they want to give more privacy controls to their users, which is a good thing in a way, I suppose. So from Apple's website, I've grabbed this. So app tracking transparency requires apps to get the user's permission before tracking their data across apps or websites owned by other companies for advertising or sharing their data with data brokers. Apps can prompt users for permission, and in settings, users will be able to see which apps have requested permission to track, so they can make changes of their own choice. So basically what that means is platforms like Facebook, Google, if people are opting out of these things, it's going to be very, very restricted in terms of how we can actually track what people are doing on our website. So if we look at Facebook as an example, if people are opting out of this, just as one single example, Facebook have now reduced their conversion attribution windows from 7 days, or it used to be 28 days click through, now it was reduced to 7 days. anyone who's opting out of these, it's going to be close to 24 hours, so a 1-day click window. So that means data that we could usually in the past collect and retarget and create custom audiences around, and sort of have that data on our pixel is now going to start to decay, and it's going to drop away. This is only going to be relevant for anyone who is using an Apple product. That product must be updated with iOS 14.5, and then they have to have opted out of this. So I've got here a few slides from Flurry. So Flurry is a data center house. These stats here are looking at the 16th of May. So this might have changed, but this is basically the first 3 weeks, looking at the sort of opt-out or opt-in rate rather. So what we're looking at here is the worldwide daily opt-in rate after iOS 14.5 launches across all apps. So we're having 15% of people. Now I believe this is people who have either opted in or opted out. So this doesn't include everyone who hasn't either seen the prompt or hasn't actioned this prompt. So 15% of people who have seen the prompt are opting in. So that leaves us with 85% of the users who are seeing this opting out. Whether they're opting out because they believe it is beneficial for them, or they're just unsure of what it means. And if you look at sort of Apple's the messaging here, so allow app to track your activity across other companies' apps and websites. So it doesn't look like the most friendly thing for a consumer who doesn't really know and understand. I guess the takeaway that they would be looking at is, I don't want to be tracked by third-party data. It's scary. I'm unsure. I'm going to opt out. So I think a lot of things that I've been saying in this space around this subject is, consumers, it's not like they're going to be seeing less ads if they're opting out. They're going to still be seeing the same number of ads and the same amount of ads. They're just going to be seeing less relevant ads. So yeah, it's a bit interesting. It's a really, really big topic for the month, and we'll see how it pans out. Here's the next slide on the worldwide daily opt-in rate across apps that have displayed the prompt. So the difference here is this is across all apps on your phone, and then Apple also have a specific prompt per app. So if you open up the Facebook app, the Instagram app, the Snapchat app, you might get asked this prompt individually for each app. So we're having 24% of people opt in. So you can see this is generic across sort of every single app on their phone, whereas this slide here and this chart we're looking at is for app specific. So people obviously, I think my takeaway from that is people, it's 15% on average of opting out across all apps, and 24 when they're asked for a specific app. So there is a bit of trust with people, looking at Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or whatever it might be, or TikTok. They are opting in because they obviously want to have a personalized experience on those platforms. So they are more likely to opt in. So there's about 24, about a quarter of people who are opting in at the end of week 3 are actually allowing that data to be tracked. And the last one here is the worldwide daily opt-in rate after iOS 14 launch across all apps. I think I might have doubled up on that one, so ignore that. Moving on to the second point I had in this little update is how you can prepare your Facebook ad account for these upcoming changes. So there are a few ways that you can not get around this, but there's going to be a couple of different methods and a couple of ways to sort of mitigate this as much as possible. There is no way around, if someone's opting out, there is zero way that Facebook legally can get around that, or any app third-party tracking can get around that at all. So the 3 things that we're doing across a lot of the accounts that we're managing for ourselves and as well as clients, these are very, very simple. They're very easy to do, but the top 3 that we've got here is 1, verifying your domain with your ads manager and your pixel. So that's super simple to do. It just requires a little snippet of code that you put into your one of your domain TXT files on the back end of your cPanel. You can grab that from your ads manager directly. And just a note there, you can only verify 1 domain per pixel. So if you have multiple domains and you're sending traffic over to 3 or 4 different websites or 3 or 4 different domains with the 1 pixel, that is no longer going to work. You will need to have an individual or a single unique pixel for a single domain. Number 2, we need to be able to limit the number of web events of that pixel. So in the past, I think Facebook has upwards now, the count is around 17 standard events. So this is your lead pixel, your complete registration, your schedule, your purchase, add to cart, initiate checkout, whatever it might be. There are 17 of those at the moment, at the present time. I think that's right. So moving forward, we are only going to be limited to be able to use 8 of those web events at any one time. Now we need to actually jump into the back end of your ads manager in your events manager, and you need to select those 8 events that you want to use. So there's only 8 that you can use now. And then the third and final thing is, once you know what those 8 events are, you will need to prioritize those in order of, I guess, importance, or in order of volume. So if a lead event is more important to you, put that up at number 1. If a purchase is the number 1 thing and you're getting the most of those conversions, and that's what you want to track the most of, put that at number 1. So it's going to be in a chronological order of 1 through to 8. As I said, you can jump into the back end of your ad account, and there is a resources center. It will look something like this. I'm sure you've all seen that big scary red bar at the top there. So make sure you're jumping in, and all the information around how you need to do that is available in the back end of your ad account. As another impact of this iOS 14, I don't know if you guys ever do use the breakdown feature or a dynamic creative feature. That is now not going to be supported anymore. So breakdowns aren't going to be supported anymore with this change, which is a bit of a shame. In the past we could actually break down and see things like what country, what region of that country, what gender, age, business locations, the time of day, impression device, what platform, what placement they looked at. So all of those breakdowns are no longer supported. I don't know if there is going to be an update to that, if that's going to come back online at some point, but at the moment that is not supported. So one other impact of the iOS 14 changes. Another one is that creating custom audiences from your web events will be restricted. So this is creating custom audiences from anyone who visits a certain specific URL on your page or whatnot. That is not going to be supported anymore, and we can't use those custom audiences as a conversion either. So in the past, we used to be able to have a custom audience or a custom conversion based on a URL slug. That's no longer supported. We have to use those 8 events that you select in your ad account, and now audiences also can't be created. So moving on to TikTok. So TikTok is really moving down to, I guess they're trying to tackle the sort of small business space at the moment. They recently just donated $100 million in the form of ad credits to small businesses across North America, I think parts of Europe and maybe even Australia. This was in the aftermath of the last year in COVID-19 and how that sort of impacted all small business. So they're making a big move and a big play into this space. And they've also launched a variety of new tools to help small businesses sort of re-engage with their communities and sort of get back on track. So they're partnering up with a couple of different third-party companies that provide music clips and different audios. I guess those tools have been incorporated into TikTok's internal sort of ad creation and content creation tools. So they're really beefing up their resources there. So they're definitely moving down that space with the small business. So a really, really interesting platform to keep an eye on. Another cool thing that they have done is partnered up with Nielsen. So Nielsen is a big data house. They're partnering up with those guys, and that is they're overlaying that with their existing sort of interest-based targeting. But what that is going to do is really bolster their existing targeting options for small businesses and local businesses, and help them, overlay those additional data points. So Nielsen jumping onto with TikTok as well is a pretty big move. So TikTok's not going anywhere. Definitely keep an eye on it. We're going to be investigating this more, and we'll keep you guys updated with what happens there. The next thing around TikTok, they're really, really going hard with the e-commerce offering as well. They're in the process of evolving and expanding out all of their in-stream shopping tools, very similar to what we've seen on Instagram in the past. So being able to send traffic directly over to a landing page or to your storefront to be able to purchase products directly from there. So they're really working at expanding their in-stream shopping tools and testing out new products for direct shopping options, both for consumers and for advertisers. So consumers can just buy directly from the app as well. So another one to really keep an eye on. It's a really, really cool update and development there from TikTok. Next thing I wanted to touch on is Pinterest and their big Shopify partnership. So Pinterest and Shopify have been working together. They have just launched a partnership with, collaboratively together. They're launching this across 27 different countries, including Australia and the UK. There's a couple of other countries in throughout Europe, but the big ones are obviously Australia. Most of you guys watching here should be operating in Australia. So what this allows is any Shopify merchants or Shopify stores who are advertising through Pinterest, it's going to allow you guys to get access to dynamic retargeting ads for the very first time, which is huge. We've seen this across Instagram, we've seen this across Facebook, but we know that Pinterest is a really, really cool platform. It's a discovery platform. People are very much in that sort of shopping discovery mindset when they're on this platform. So they're saving pins, they're looking at different outfits, and this is going to allow you guys as Shopify merchants and Shopify store owners to be able to retarget those guys and re-engage any pinners who are expressing interest in any of the products on your Pinterest store or on your Shopify store. So really, really cool development there. And they're also launching a multi-feed support for catalogs. So catalogs will be brought to Pinterest directly into your Shopify store. This is a new feature. This is allowing businesses to easily upload any products from your feed directly into a Pinterest business account. So similar to, again, Facebook with the sort of dynamic product catalog, Shopify and Pinterest have brought that to you guys as well. Update on that one is that I think you are able to have up to 20 products in your feed in your account at one time. So really, really cool. Pinterest is a great platform. We're doing quite a lot with it at the moment with a lot of our e-com clients. And like I said, it is very much a sort of discovery platform. So people go here for ideas, for homewares. It's really, really big for homewares, even food and shopping. So if you're, like meal prepping, gym, fitness, it's a huge platform. The user base on there is super engaged and they love engaging with stuff. One tip with Pinterest though, any ads, don't make them look too addy, right? As you can see in this image on you've got right here, this would just be a really, really native sort of creative that just fits into the feed rather than just looking like an ad, because people are on there, they're in that discovery sort of mindset and that psychology. So yeah, they don't want to see ads. They're there to sort of shop and get new ideas. So the last thing I wanted to touch on was Snapchat and their Snap Partner Summit that they've just had in 2020. So a few updates from them. Their user base is really growing around the world. So it's definitely a platform to have a look at and sort of definitely check out if you guys aren't running anything on there. Even as a user yourself, just jump on and take a look. It is now up to 500 million to 500 million monthly users around the globe. I think in Australia it is upwards of 3 to 4 million. I don't know. I think that might be monthly users. That also could be daily users. So it is a fair chunk. A lot of people sort of have their reservations around running ads on Snapchat, thinking that it is very sort of immature, younger demographic. Definitely not the case. There is a lot more people of your sort of, I guess, the early adopters of Snapchat back, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago are still on there primarily. So, those guys, when they were 14, 15, adopting that, they're in their low to mid 20s now. So they've grown up with the platform. So they're still using that as well. So there is that misconception that Snapchat is just with the, 13, 14, 15-year-olds that don't have any money. There definitely are those guys on there, but there is also a growing demographic, and I think, it's an aging demographic. So the earlier you can get in on the platform, the better. There are 280 million daily active users. So again, 500 million users monthly. active monthly users and 280 million daily active users. So not something to sniff at, definitely a platform that's not going anywhere. Another cool thing that Snapchat have developed over the last couple of years is something called the Snap Map. So Snap Map was launched back in 2017 by the platform, and what the purpose of that was to really try to set out to create this personalized map for any Snap user. So you could, with a quick swipe, Snapchatters, they can check out, what their friends are doing, where they are, sort of see what is happening in the local vicinity that they're in, what cafes, businesses or what businesses around universities, and then also sort of overlays that data with their friends who are in the areas as well. So what that means for businesses is that you can jump on and you can sort of like what Google Local or the Google My Business, how you can jump on and add your business to that to Google Maps. Businesses can jump onto Snap Maps and add in their business there, so you're going to appear on all these searches when people are using this. So there's 250 Snapchatters who use this feature monthly, so again, huge amount of potential there. And right now, as it stands, there are about 30 million businesses on Map, and they're using it in this new way. So they're engaging, finding new customers, getting a lot of foot traffic into their local brick and mortar stores. Cafes, restaurants, clothing shops, bars, that sort of thing are running a lot of stuff there. So really, really, really cool feature. It's sort of, taking on, as I said, Google Maps, and it'll be really, really interesting to see how this sort of keeps evolving. That's pretty much it from me, guys. If there's anything that you need help with your online ads across any ad platform, whether it's LinkedIn, Snapchat, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, whatever it might be, head over to gms.co, speak to us, shoot us a message, shoot us an email, book a call to chat to us. We'd love to hear from you. Until next month, hopefully everything is all good and you guys are crushing it. If there's anything you need from us at GMS, please, head over to the website and get in touch. Thanks, guys.